I hope this is recording, but I'm not gonna make this be a long video because I'm sure there's a lot of videos out there. But daddy little girl versus age play. How do I see it? So I've always looked at it like little girls are little girls, littles are little girls who age play. There's such a difference, and there was a video, I don't know what it was on Vice or some shit, like about like my girlfriend acts like an infant or something like that. It has a ton of views. But she was an age player, and they kept saying daddy little girl and age play as if they were one and the same, and they're not. So just to be really quick about this, because I don't think it needs to be super long. Daddy little girl dynamic is just it's like a master and a slave, or a pet and an owner, or a lot of other DS dynamics. However, daddies versus masters typically have much more responsibility to the emotional component, and as a result, it's a more nurturing dynamic, it's a more tender dynamic, it's much less hard-handed typically. Of course, I have probably some owner tendencies and will call myself more of a psychological dom, so a lot of my punishments are much more mental than physical. I just prefer them. But so there's obviously, everybody's always going to be a little nuanced. You might be a little girl who is masochistic, so maybe you like a harsher punishment that you would get from more of a master. But as a general rule, daddy little girl is much more nurturing, much more loving, much more tender, much more guiding, much more protective, typically, things like that. Age play, anybody could be an age player. Anybody. You don't even have to be into BDSM to be an age player. You're not a little girl, and you don't have a daddy just because you like age play. You could be completely vanilla and like the color, or like baby talk. It doesn't even have to be sexual. So age play is a very different thing. You do see it a lot. I'm not age playing daddy. I don't like coloring. I don't like watching reruns of 101 Dalmatians or Snow White or anything like that. It's not my thing, but there's a lot of daddies that like it, and there's a lot of little girls that like it. For me, I'm not super patient, and I mean I am. I'm actually very, very patient on some things, but I'm a little ADHD, so I have a really hard time sitting still. So when I say patient, I'm not patient when it comes to just sitting still and coloring or playing with dolls or doing something like that. I'm just not good at it. It makes me feel anxious. So I would do fine with a little girl that was a middle and had middle tendencies. So sometimes they say little girl, sometimes they say little, which I associate with a little girl that age plays, and then sometimes they say middle, which might be more cute thigh-high socks and things like that. Less stuffed animals, maybe some stuffed animals, but less coloring, probably no sippy cups or pacifiers or anything like that. But I just want to make the distinction. There is a big difference between little girls and age players, even if a lot of little girls are age players. So that's my thoughts on it. And I actually don't have a lot of experience with age play because I'm not an age playing daddy, and I almost never see a distinction in any way between the daddies that are into age play. I would love it if it was little girls, littles, middles, so littles, middles, little girls, and then daddy doms, and I don't know what else you could call a daddy to identify him as a daddy that liked age play as well. I don't know. I mean, I love like little princess stuff and things like that, but not the full-on age plays. So I don't know. If you can think of something that a daddy should be called that is also an age play, That would be awesome to put in the comments. All right.